All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. Unassisted childbirth. Unassisted childbirth. Well, I guess, being a pastor, being a man of Yah, in the day and hour and time that we're living in, you're going to eat. It's up to me, mostly, to actually try to give people what I would call somewhat the key of knowledge, because you all know just as well as I do that we have all been born into a system, somewhat of a matrix. And in this matrix and in this system that we all been birthed into, we fell out of our mother's womb, birthed out of our mother's womb, and this system was already in place. There are a lot of fears that are associated with trying to be independent and be free in this country that we're living in. Believe it or not, in all 50 states in the United States of America, there is nothing illegal about you having your child at home. Unassisted childbirth means you don't want nobody meddling around with your wife, especially of a government entity. You don't want any of that. Now, what people don't know, because think about our society. We usually just go along and do whatever is in place, and it's been that way for so long that nobody ever questions the status quo. Nobody ever questions why things are the way they are. And then as soon as you start questioning the people that are caught up in the matrix, you ain't got to worry about the government coming down on you. Your natural family will come down on you. And believe it or not, they'll do some crazy stuff. They will do some literal crazy stuff and show you how deep that they are in this matrix. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. And so this bizarre behavior is deeply and collectively embedded in the subconscious mind of man in this society and world. And you can't even change people out of this paradox. You can't do it. It is so sad how that we, a lot of people are controlled by a robot attitude. And we say that we live in a country where we live in the land of the free and a home of the brave. And anytime you start exercising your rights to be free and showing you how free you are, the first thing they want to do is label you with some type of disparaging name or comment or insults, or throwing some insults at you, which is sad. But it's not illegal for you to have a child, your own child at home, without having a medical institution or the hospitals or the doctors or midwives or anybody else around. Now, some states will say, yeah, but soon after birth, we want you to go get a birth certificate. Now, my personal recommendation is that that's not wise, because what you're going to do is you're going to institutionalize your child. And they're going to get more into your business. And then as soon as you go get that birth certificate, you're going to open up the doors for the Department of Child Services, Human Services, and everybody else come in and interfere in your business. Just like what Black's Law Dictionary says. You got to think about this. When you start thinking about the marriage license and everything else, it's something that you already have a right to do. There's no law that you have to get a marriage license. But if you don't get a marriage license, you are breaking the law. Does that make any sense? That type of double talk? In other words, you are free from the system if you don't get one. Now, it does have perks and benefits. But anyway, don't let people punk you about going out and getting or being scared to have your own baby or child at home. Don't let people do that. People will do whatever they can in the day and hour and time we live in to make sure you are a good little obedient government entity. They will do that. But ignorance is no excuse. Listen, you do not have to fear having your child at home. What you do have to fear is once you start getting saddled up with the system. I'm going to end this video on this and let people know that marriage license is devastating. It's bad. It's really bad. Because when you get that thing, you get that contract with the state, they're not going to disclose you the terms and conditions of that. They're not going to tell you that all the fruit that comes from that union, because after all, the state is prostituting the woman to the man. And I know that people, I don't see it that way. I dare you go check me out. I dare you see if I'm telling the truth or not. And that's what is bizarre about this country right here, is that people are afraid of the truth. And living free has actually become a crime in a lot of people's minds today. It's crazy. But as soon as you have a child, the state will clearly tell you that that child does not belong to you. Now you got to ask yourself a question. Do you really truly want to go get saddled up with that state? I mean, somebody say, well, then they start throwing all these hypotheticals. Cross that bridge when you get there, if it comes. But the truth is, y'all don't have too many people out there that's teaching you the truth today. And most of you are too fearful to do it anyway. Are you really truly free? That's the real question.